Hello and welcome to Scrapping on the Fly. My name is Kristen and this is my scrap drawer. This is for patterned paper only, typically for things that are multicolored, because scraps that are solid or mostly one color are in a smaller drawer individually by color. So this is what I keep in there. I have this lovely little sleeve that has the lined scraps of paper for journaling. And then I have this one that has embossed papers in different shades. These came from, I believe all of these are out of paper pads, a Recollections paper pad that are pre-embossed, just in case I need a little texture on a page. And yes, I keep these itty bitties. And then this is whatever else I have that is a scrap. It is in, well, I don't know why that's in here, random sizes. It is strips. It is little itty bitty pieces. It is all sorts of a mess. Like, there's no organization in this drawer other than these are scraps that have multiple colors, and they don't have a home other than in my scrap drawer. Some of them are almost a full page with just a little piece out of them. Typically, I only keep what I think I can work with, but I'm also kind of like Pack Rat and keep, like, I feel like I could use this on a patriotic or 4th of July layout. Same with these. I have a paper pad that goes with these, so I have lots and lots of scraps. So, and then I also have my border strips in this container right here. And they're either branding strips. Some of them are like these are Creative Memories strips. There are just pieces that I've cut off when I've trimmed a page down to mat it. Mostly they're this thin size. It's about 1/2 inch. Some of them are wider. Some of them, I mean, there's just a hodgepodge of different things in here. So this is on my desk. I just created this not that long ago. They were in another container, but I love this one. I got this idea from somebody on Scrapbooking with Anne Marie, or maybe Facebook group. This sits on my desk just so I can pull something out of here if I need it. So this is considered a scrap to me, because they're either, like I said, the branding strips, or for the most part. So I have been challenged by scrapbookingwitannemarie.com for the October 6th daily trick-or-treat challenge to use my scraps, and only scraps, minus the base page. So that is what I'm going to do. I am going to take this mess and I am going to use as much of this as I can. And I feel I am free to pull in the branding strips if it's needed. But I really would like to put some kind of a dent in this. I mean, it's not as fat as some I've seen, but it's quite a bit. And there's a ton of little bitty pieces in here. Things that I really shouldn't have kept, but did. What goes in my other little thing? So, I have no plans. I have not a single plan even going on in my head right now. I don't even know what pictures I'm scrapbooking. So, we are going to go through this, and I will edit this video so you don't have to watch the whole entire process, because, you know, I'd like you to come back and watch the whole thing. So I'm going to go through this, and I'm going to pick some things out, and I'm going to try and use as much of that as possible. So let's get started with that. I am definitely going to keep these two out just in case with my textured paper and my sentence strips. And then I'm going to go through this pile and put things in here that are definite no, and pitch a couple things if I find anything that's just ridiculous. And I'm looking at myself going, why in God's green earth did you keep that? So that's what I'm going to do for now. And then we will make a page. So let's see how this goes. So I went through this entire bin, and it may not seem like a lot to some, but I have definitely gone through and gotten rid of quite a bit over the last couple of months and used quite a bit. I've been challenged quite a few times, so to use up some scraps. So I organized it all back in my bin and held out that pile there to see how much of that I could use up. I had a handful that I ended up throwing away. That's it right there. And I had a few things that were solids that need to go in the mini scrap bins that I have, or things that belonged in the other little compartments with the texture paper and the line paper. So I got it all out, and I'm looking through it to try and figure out what I want to start with. So I decide I have these two big enough pieces that I could make a base page from these two scraps. So I am 100% using scraps. So I just start by covering up the seams with this long strip of rainbow paper, which I believe is American Crafts. Those two background papers are old. Old. So I really just wanted to use them because they were big enough to pretty much make a full 12 by 12. But I have had those for a long time. They're probably Miss Elizabeth's or something from the dollar store. So I just start taking scraps of mostly what I have is blue and a little bit of like a minty green. And I pretty much stick to blue, mint green, and a little bit of aqua. The rainbow on there, which in the end you only see like most of one and a couple partials of the rainbows. But other than that, it's pretty much all blue, shades of blue and a little bit of green. So I just take strips and put them in different places. And I know that, I don't know if you saw the shiny heart that I had, which is a scrap from one of my 30 Days of Sketches. I cut out a off-kiltered heart, and this is the inside part of that heart. And I'll pull that out, and it covers quite a bit of the strips that I use. But since I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to end up putting it, I just lay down strips. And you can see quite a few. I think there's probably 3 that are completely covered. So that was me standing up, checking to make sure that I was still in camera. And I moved it down a little bit or up a little bit. So I just continue laying strips down, and I'm really liking the way that it is turning out. In the beginning, it was like a little bit of a crazy mess. So these are the papers that I'm not going to use, that I just tossed aside and put them back in my bin. A couple that were small enough I threw away. I am trimming off that heart. It's a little bit thick. I believe this is Recollections Hot by Paper Pad paper, and it's a little thicker than a normal cardstock. So when I cut it on the Cricut, I had to like puncture through a few places because it did not fully cut. So I just trimmed off some places that had some white on them. So I try and figure out where I want to put this to where it's not covering everything. I mean, obviously the pictures and the heart are the most important. And that blue framed piece is actually also a scrap from where I cut out a tag or something, and that is textured paper. So this is my picture box that I'm working on right now. Those are all 2021 in the front of that brown envelope. And then the back 2 picture holders are, one is my Facebook posts that I screenshot from the past, the ones that pop up on your on this day kind of thing. And then the other one is my Texas trip, which is what I'm also going to start working on soon, or continue working on. So I put this heart down, and I do pick 2 pictures. One is vertical and one is horizontal. And they are my daughter's first day of her new job. I had driven her because she didn't have her license yet. And so we took a selfie in the car together before she got out. And I took a picture of her going in the door, trying not to be like obvious, because I didn't want her boss to be like, oh my gosh, your mother's crazy. So, So I pulled this paper out because I want something a little bit darker than what I've been working with, so it will pop a little bit on the page. And I'm going to mat the picture of me and my daughter on this paper because it's going to go on top of the heart. So I cut it down to a 4 1/4 by 6 1/4 because I did not trim my picture at all. And I go ahead and put the paper down. Normally I would mat it and then lay it down, but I know the general idea and goal of where I want to put the picture. So I just go ahead and put the paper down first. And I like to put some glue on things that are going down on textured paper. Mixed media, things like that. But I put some glue in the middle. I don't know if I cut that out of what I was doing, but I used some craft bond glue in the middle of that blue paper I just put down. And then I eyeball center the picture on top of it. So it makes it stand out a little bit more than if I had done another light shade of blue or not matted it at all. So the other picture is, like I said, of my daughter going into the building. So I cut an inch off and made it a 5 by 4 because I measure, and I don't know if you see me do this on camera or not, but I take that scrap that looks like a frame now, and I put it down in the corner so I can see how big the picture needs to be so that it is completely filling in that space. So one of the blue strips of paper that I had is minion paper, and it says unique. So I just trim a piece of that out and put it down on right next to where my picture of me and my daughter is, over there on the far right. And then I put down the picture of her going in the door. And this is actually a scrap I'm using right here. It is a heart that I had cut out of my Cricut. And so I get out my light blue ink pad from Stampabilities and just carefully push it through this heart stencil, or cut out from where it was just something that was still in my scrap bin. So I use that, and I use that on another page after this is done too, to spray through. I love to do that because then it's even less wasteful. Let's see if I can get my words out. It is currently 1:45 in the morning. I am dog sitting, and so I'm getting ready to go to bed for the first time with this new Poochie at my house. It's my pup, my sister's dog. So he's my nephew and he's puppy. So anyway, so here I pull out my American Craft stickers, as well as I have some Stick-a-bililities and some other ones, Pink Fresh Studio, some other things like that. And it's just a stack that I have that I love to go through most of the time to find things. So this one I got off of an American Craft sticker. It says life is about creating yourself. And I put that up in that corner specifically because there's a little miscut in that corner, and I want to make sure and cover that. And then I go through and find on this Stick-a-bililities sticker sheet 2 things. One that I put down just now that says real queens fix each other's crowns, and I love that. And then the other one I pull out says yes queen, and I put that above my head like I'm saying that to my daughter, because I was really proud of her for going out and finding she was unhappy where she was, and she went and found another place where she's been pretty darn happy and working with kids, which makes her super happy. So I continue going through these stickers and trying to make sure that I haven't missed anything. And I pull this Happy Day sticker because it's a whole bunch of blue and it perfectly fits right there in the curve of the heart. And I love that. So I get all of those on there. And then I pull a couple more off the back, heart and a little word sticker that says happiness. And I tuck those underneath mine and her picture. And it's just helping with a little bit of a seam right there where that teal patterned paper meets up with the picture on the bottom right. So I get that done. And then I know that I need some journaling. So I'm going to put my pile of stickers away. And I am debating on using some blue stickles. That's what I just pulled out. Changed my mind and got out Mermaid Lagoon in the Distress Oxides by Ranger. And I cover my pictures and actually cover that heart and just do little parts of this at a time. So do the bottom corner and then move everything around to where I don't get any of the ink on the heart or the pictures or the embellishments. So after I get that done, I pull out a piece of this journaling, write a little note about it's her first day of her new job, and it was a very good day. And that is going to be it for this page. So I'm going to show you some close-ups here in just a second. And that is my scrap page that I created today. So I hope that, I'm pulling out my daily journal, and it is just literally a little note about what happened that day. No details, not like a diary or anything. It's just like it documents, today I went to work and then, I dropped Katie off here or I took my son here or whatever. So that way I can go back later and not have to scroll through a million pictures to find out dates for things. So that's what I was doing, looking for the date. So anyway, that is it. I hope that you will be encouraged to use up some scraps and get some things on paper and document your memories. I hope you have a great day, and I hope you get a chance today to do something you love with someone you love. Have a good one. Happy scrapping.